I was originally trained as an engineer. Then with the decline in the Midlands, I went into teaching and got very involved in women's courses, training women for non-traditional jobs. And I worked at a college doing that for about 15 years. And then they closed, they shut actually. And I looked for another job and I decided to be self-employed. And most of my work's been in supporting voluntary sector organisations with their management issues, financial control, charity law, things like that. And so I had a contract with SWEDA, Sandwell Women's Enterprise Development Agency in Sandwell, in West Bromwich it is based. And my job there was to talk to women who were thinking about starting their own enterprise. Well, starting their own business, but some of them said specifically social enterprises they were interested in, and that was the area that I was particularly focusing on. So it meant explaining what it was, and then really helping them look at their business ideas, do some business planning with them, look at how the impact of the business would affect their family life, their responsibilities, all those sort of things, budgets, or just testing the market, just everything really. And Birgit was one of these people. Well, she asked me if I could come and have an informal chat with her about the finances there, look at it with her. She's not very keen on finance, I don't think. I actually really enjoy looking at it and undoing the puzzles, but she's not very keen, and things were getting quite complicated. So we tried to sort of simplify it and go through it and look at cash flow problems really that she was having. So I met her a number of times for that. It's always very pleasant. She's a very quick learner. She follows what you're doing, but I think that at that time anyway she had rather a lot on her plate. They were doing, don't know, they're still doing this. I think they still are doing this. They were taking people who had had very difficult backgrounds, experiences, training them into work in the kitchen, and then using them for their staff. And that's an extremely difficult thing to do. I've worked in other organisations, I've been on the board of other organisations doing the same thing. And because of the people that you've got and their problems, the amount of management of staff that you have to do, it can be huge. And then means that you're doing all the financial control and everything late at night or early in the morning or just wherever you can manage it. And really I think it was a lot to take on. But that's the nature of the work, I suppose. We had a professional relationship really. I mean, I had to write everything up and report back on what I'd done and sort of feeding. We were paid according to the clients that we got and the work that we did with them. So I had to keep quite detailed records, and those had to be submitted for our payments. But it was a very good relationship. She was a very, very lively member at our forum meetings. She was very keen to share things with other people, to inspire other people. She's always been keen on social media and very good marketing that she does. And I think that gave lots of other people lots of ideas and confidence that they could do it. So yeah, she was very good. I haven't seen so much of us because I've retired, really. So I sort of work over here. I think they've got a lot of potential, and she's such a driving force behind it. She's very enthusiastic. She's keen to improve, to go out and find new markets, to try new projects, to persevere working with the client group that she does for the training, and I think she's gained a lot in her experience. When they were having trouble, I mean, that was one of the things that came up in my meeting with her, was that there was this gap. And I was in a position at that time to put some money in, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get any return in the bank from it. In fact, it may even vanish. May as well put it into something that's going to do some good. And they've actually been paying me back now. after some time, but they've been paying me back a small amount every month. So that's very good. I think it's worked very well. It's also nice investing in something that's real and tangible, and you can see it rather than just the bank giving you interest or something. That doesn't seem very... Besides, you don't always know if that's ethical either, do you? Like, I know what this is, where the money's coming from. I certainly believe that you can't expect all people to be successful in life without having some help sometimes. People who have a good background and a stable family life and supportive parents are in a very different position than people who have perhaps lived in care, been homeless for some time or whatever, and to be offered the stability but also the structure of a working life and expectations being made on them, and them learning to do new things that they can be proud of. All these give these people a chance to change things, to change the circumstances that they're in themselves, and I think that is extremely good. It's much better than people just magically doing things or just giving them loads of money. It really, a lot of people, I've been talking this morning to my son who is self-employed and lives in Norfolk, and we were talking about how lonely the life is when you're self-employed, and I think that's something that people don't understand. When you're just starting to work and you haven't got a family and you haven't got anyone to help you, it can be very, very lonely and frightening. And I think ChangeKitchen does that differently. You join a group and you're part of a group. Part of the organisation is your family for a bit, sort of thing. That's what I think makes a difference. So I don't know what the value of that is. That's social sort of thing. You can't learn by being told something. You only learn by doing it. So the model that ChangeKitchen has got, which is you're in the business, you're doing it, you're seeing the customers face to face, you're understanding how what you do impacts on the business. That's the way to learn it. It's no good sending people on courses. That doesn't work. They might enjoy it and they might understand it, but it's a big jump to seeing themselves doing it. But what ChangeKitchen does is puts them in the position of doing the job, not just training them, but they do it. That's the difference, I think. And that's the thing about teaching. It's about how we should teach people, because they tend to teach people as if everybody's on the same level playing field. I used to teach people who went back to a house where there was not a room with a table and chair they could sit at. Their bed was what you call a hot bed. They had it at night. Somebody else slept in the daytime because they were working nights. So they couldn't even go and lie on their bed and read a book. Some families there is very, very little support for anybody learning things. People don't realise that when they say, why can't they improve themselves? Why can't they just go and pass their GCSEs or something and get a job? Getting a job's another big hurdle as well, isn't it? It's very difficult to have an interview if you've never been interviewed before. I can remember thinking that the questions were always a surprise. It took a long time for me to realise that I could work out what they were going to be and prepare for them. I came from a building family, so there was none of that sort of academic sort of culture in my family. And, that I just didn't know these things. I didn't know how libraries worked. And I know that other people are the same. You have to show them. Go and take them, show them. So that's what I think. And that's why I think this is a good model. The food was lovely. I've got a bit of a digestive problem. I've got Crohn's disease. So I'm very careful about what I eat. So I might not look as if I'm always enjoying a lot of the food, but I have to avoid a lot of fibre and avoid a lot of chilies and things. So yes, but they do a lovely spread, very colourful, very attractive. I've been to, I think, a celebration party at their office once, which was lovely as well. Yeah. It's the sort of food I used to eat. I would love to eat. Very healthy but tasty. It's not Spartan at all. I believe in decent farming practices, free range food. I suppose animal welfare, I think, is important. Yes, I think they can. I think the problem is so many people still don't understand what it is, and don't understand that it's got to be a good business, basically. That at the foundation of it has got to be a good business. Just because it's a charity doesn't mean it needs help like a charity. It needs to get its money by doing good work and producing things that people want. I think it can be, because it shows people actually it's a bit like Jeremy Corbyn, isn't it? It shows people there's other ways of doing things. It doesn't have to be loads of people making vast profit from it. Saying which, I'm involved in another organisation which is a social enterprise, and we're very clear that we pay the boss the going rate. He doesn't work for peanuts. He works awful long hours and he does a lot of good work, but you have to pay the right wages and pay the staff the right wages, and it's not a cheap business. But people don't really understand what it is. The best I did was had some people around and I just got some money and said, here's your profit, there it is, what you're going to do with it. And when they all said, oh, we'll all have some, I said, well, you're not a social enterprise then. Let's see now what we're going to do. We're going to share some out for you, and then this much is going to go to what? To do what? You must have some plan, what it's for, what are you doing with this? Most times it's expanding the business, investing in the business, but there's often a time, the other thing that I work in often had a few £100, £1,000 at the end of the year that it could say, what are we going to do here for the community here? We're going to run a summer festival for the children, we're going to build something in the park, we're going to do, there's the things that local authority can't or won't do, you can do. And that's a lovely feeling, having that unrestricted funding. Seeing that money and thinking, the group here can make their mind up what they want to do with this. It's very powerful, actually. It's most people that are involved haven't done this sort of thing before.